Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be showing you how I made these linen throw pillow covers. These were a super easy DIY and a great project to do at home right now. So let's get started. For this DIY, you'll need fabric of your choice and matching thread. Here I'm using a beautiful green linen fabric, which is great for this type of project. You'll also need a sewing machine and sewing supplies such as fabric scissors, a measuring tape, pins, fabric chalk, and a straight ruler. Finally, you'll need zippers that are as long as the edge of your pillows. Before starting, make sure to wash and dry your fabric and give it a good press. Next, I'm going to measure out my pattern. For these pillows, I'm using 20-inch square pillow inserts from IKEA. I had covers on these already, so I used the measurements of those to create the measurements for my pattern. The inside pocket of the original pillow covers was around 18.5 inches, so that's what I used to make my base pattern. Then I added 7/8 of an inch seam allowances to each side, with an extra 1/4 inch for the zippered edge. I'm using wider seam allowances than normal so that I can do a decorative edge, which will also encase the raw edges on the inside, which you'll see once we start sewing. But that's optional and you could skip this step and use a smaller seam allowance if you prefer. Just remember to add a little extra to the zipper edge. I used my fabric chalk to mark out the pattern and also marked the zipper edge so that I know which side it is and where I need to make my first stitches. Next, I'm cutting out my fabric. You'll need 2 pieces per pillow cover. Once you cut one, you can then use it as a template for the others. The last step before we start sewing is to press up the hem along the zipper edge by 1/4 of an inch. Then we're ready to start sewing. To begin, place the right sides of your fabric together and pin along the edge where the zipper is going to go, the side that you just pressed up. Starting from each side, stitch in at a 5/8 seam allowance from the folded edge, leaving a gap that is large enough for your pillow to fit through. My pillows are about 20 square inches, so I left a 17-inch gap. This meant that my stitches were 1.5 inches in from the sides, but that might be different if you're using a different sized pillow. Make sure that you backstitch well so that the seam is sturdy. Now press the seam open. You'll have a 5/8 seam with a 1/4 inch turn under. The next step is to attach the zipper. This was a little finicky and it might take a while to pin it properly. You want to attach it to the wrong side of the fabric with the right side of the zipper facing out. But you want to pin it from the right side of the fabric so that you can top stitch it from the right side. Once your zipper is pinned in place, top stitch at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, making sure to catch the 1/4 edge that is folded under as you sew. To attach the zipper, I started at the bottom, stitched up to the top, stitched across, and then stitched back down the other side to the bottom again. We're done the hardest part and we're almost finished. So now that the zipper is attached, open it about halfway. This will make it easier to flip your pillow right side out again once we stitch all of the side seams. Then with right sides together, pin and stitch around the remaining 3 sides of your pillowcase at a 3/8 seam allowance. Trim the 4 corners before turning the pillow right side out. Use a chopstick or something similar to carefully poke out the corners so that they're square. Then press the pillow cover so that it is completely flat all the way out to the seams. The last step is to stitch around the edges of the pillow at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. This will encase your 3/8 inch raw edges on the inside and also add a decorative edge to your pillow. Start and end your stitches where you left off with your zipper, making sure that they line up properly. And that's it, you're done! I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and that it gives you some inspiration for your own projects at home. If you'd prefer to read written instructions, I will link my blog post that has all of the step-by-step instructions with photos in the description box below. Also, if you end up doing this DIY, make sure to tag me on Instagram at @EmilyLightly so that I can see your creations. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.